So my name is Joseph Reynolds, and I'm joined by Kai Holmes, one of the UK's biggest regional prospects that we've got at the moment, who takes on Musa and Almighty fight in November 26th at the Barnsley Metrodome. Preparing for that fight, buddy. How are you feeling for it?
Feeling good, ready to go. 5 weeks time, feeling strong, ready to put it on him. He's a good opponent, but it's a better win for me. I want these fights. I want these big fights, and he's up there, isn't he? I thought I was gonna fight him in the amateurs. To be honest, I've always known I was gonna fight him, but I thought I'd have fought him in the amateurs. But now we're pro, just even better, innit?
Yeah, and when you do get that sort of fight, obviously, it's one that people will have seen before, and if they're looking at the regional scene as a fight to potentially happen down the line. But to be able to get it at this stage of your pro career, obviously, a lot of the time we might see pros taking easier matchups to build up the wins. But so far, you've tried to take the hardest challenges that you can, and that was the same thing in your amateur career. So do you feel as though getting these fights now and getting the wins as well, do you feel as though they're the real things that are going to be able to take you on to further things from the regional scene in the future?
Yeah, you do see a lot of people try and pad their records and stuff like that by fighting, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's all the same, but he's a good name to beat, and I feel like stylistically I match up well with him as well. I'm not going to give too much away, but I feel like his only way to win is to get that hold me down sort of thing, and he's not going to be able to hold me down. It's just not going to happen. So I think it's a good stylistic matchup for us, and it's a good win. On paper, it's a good win.
Yeah, and then to touch on, obviously, Almighty Fine, we've seen you on there a few times, and you've seen a lot of success on the show. So do you feel as though now that you are pro and you've got well underway with it, do you hope to maybe go for the pro title on Almighty Fighting before going to these bigger shows, or are you just sort of taking these fights as they come along and you're just looking to improve at the early stages of your pro career? But
one at a time, yeah. But yeah, I've got my eyes on that Almighty strap as well. I'll probably take that before I move on.
Yeah, and then in terms of the improvements that we've seen as well, obviously MMA in the UK, we know how quick it's growing and the fighters within it. But what would you say, since being an amateur to the pro has been the biggest difference in your improvements as a fighter going forward at the moment?
I'm always improving, no matter whether I'm amateur or pro. But I feel like at first, when I first switched to pro, I was like an amateur. But I was pro. I was just coming into pro, and now I'm my body's conditioned to the rounds, and I'm just total different animal now, and I can't wait to showcase that on the night.
Yeah, and then obviously the card going into November 26th, it's a very big card as well. On Almighty, one of the biggest that we've seen this year for them. So to be one of the names that is also a big part of that card, and one that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on. Does it sort of just back up the sort of proof that they're putting in terms of the skills that you've got? And do you feel as though being where you are on the show is where you're starting to deserve to be at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. My little brother's fighting for the title on there as well, so we've got 2 big fights on that night. Both going to win as well. Both big wins.
When you do have your brother on the card, obviously, I believe he's taking on Daniel Ward.
Yeah.
But when you do have your brother, obviously, you're having another pro fight, and then he's fighting for the title. To fight alongside your brother, both sort of reaching the highest levels, and knowing that you've got big futures in the sport. What's that like, sort of having him there going through his career and you through yours at the same time?
Yeah, it's good. We train bit as well. It's good for camp because we're both going to be peaking at the same time. Obviously, we training partners as well, so it all works out well.
And we've obviously in the UK at the moment, we've seen a lot of brothers and twins going for etching the name sort of at the moment. The Mullen brothers are another set that you see on the regional scene. But do you feel as though both the Holmes brothers by the end of the career, I know you won't be looking that far, but do you see is the aim to both be household names, and what do the sort of goals in your MMA career look like if you've gone on to look that far for what you're wanting?
One step at a time, but I think maybe it's the first step. We'll both maybe get the Almighty title. Imagine I don't think that's ever happened before in Almighty. 2 brothers with the title basically. Maybe it's that first, then we'll move on. But Yeah, I mean, there's some good there's a couple good fighters who are brothers, but I think me and Kane's gonna we're gonna take over the sport, 100%.
Yeah, and then just to touch back on the fight, obviously, Musa is a very exciting fighter to watch. In terms of going in there, you've touched on a little bit in where you see the advantages, but without giving too much away, how do you see that fight going on the night, or are you just ready to go in there and whatever comes forward you'll deal with when you're in there?
It depends on him. Like, if he keeps the same sort of style, I can't see the fight looking like a pretty sort of fight. It's gonna be like scrappy, maybe, because he sort of runs forward, but yeah, it's probably gonna be scrappy. And I think I can see me finishing him, but it just depends on him whether how much he puts out. I'm expecting it to come forward, so. If he fights how he normally fights, I think I'll get him out of there.
Yeah, and then as you mentioned now, obviously with the stars and the way that he fights as well, do you see it as one of the fight of the night contenders on the show as well? Because obviously there's a lot of great fights on there, but it is the one I've seen a lot of people mention. Do you see it as one of the fight of the night contenders where there's potential for 15 minutes of just constant action throughout the bout?
Nah, I'm not looking for no fight of the night. I'm looking to dominate, so I can't see it being a fight of the night.
Yeah, and then just one of the last things from me, in terms of what people can expect to see from you in this fight and moving forward, what does that look like for them, buddy?
What's that, sorry?
And then just going into this one, in terms of what people can expect to see in this fight and then moving forward, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, just fireworks. I bring it every time, and the people know that I bring it. So yeah, just watch out and just trying to take it as far as I can. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, well, that is everything from me. So if you just want to feel free to take a moment, shout any sponsors, teammates, coaches, gyms, anything like that, obviously just feel free to go ahead, bud.
Yeah, just all my training partners, my team, the lads up ASMMA as well. We've been getting a lot of good sparring in up there. Sponsors, my nutritionist, Chris Smith Nutrition, Turkish Barbers, Hard Life, what else? Blue Tannin. I don't know if I fucking hate this because I always forget somebody.
If we miss any off, I'm sure we can get put in the description, no problem.
Yeah. And my tattooist as well. Brothers Inc. That's all them. I nearly forgot them there.
Well, there we go. That's everything from me. So obviously November 26th, be on the lookout. It's a big fight on there, and someone will be looking to walk away with a statement victory. But I appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you very much.
There's one thing. I need you to make a video on how to beat me.
Is that what we needed before the fight? We needed a bit of combat survivalist training. I'll get it sorted before the fight, don't you worry. I'm sure I can make a few calls. I'll be free to show the people. But as always, appreciate the time very much, bud.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
You too, buddy.